Okay, it is 8 a.m. I'd like to call the Brimfield Township regular meeting of May 5th, 2021 to order. Roll call for attendance, John.
All those in attendance, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes.
We have a full board.
All right. I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for prayer and meditation prior to the start of the meeting. Okay. All right. Announcements and correspondences. Sue, do you have any announcements or correspondences for today?
Only the 8th is the activity in Edson Park for everybody to bring their trash and their want to throwaways down there. We've got a big scrapper thing coming. 9 to 4.
Thank you. All right, perfect.
Hey, can I jump
Mike,
in there?
any announcements?
No announcements.
Nick, jump in there real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of us should put out some kind of video on Facebook to advertise the trash day. I know,
Okay.
I know Sue's not great at that. Nothing against Sue. I'm just saying she doesn't do that stuff.
Yeah, I was, Mike, I know you're going to do the meeting update video. You want me to do the trash day park cleanup video real quick?
Yeah,
later this week too?
I would, for props, I would have you wear a big 55-gallon trash bag. I think that
I got a drum at home I can put over them.
Yeah.
No drums.
We'll come up
We
with
don't
something
accept
fun.
drums.
Okay, I know you will, Nick.
And then, Sue, I'll swing down on the 8th too, and we can do a live video down there with you, talking about the trash day if you're going to be down there.
Okay.
Do you want Rochelle to post something also in the meantime, here and there?
I can
yeah, we
repost
can
the
do a
flyer.
Yeah, if we could repost that flyer.
Yeah, let's do that. Cassie, can you just tell Rochelle or somebody to do that?
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry. Keep going.
It's okay. The only announcements or correspondence that I have is related to a legal update for the board. OTA sent out an update related to some legislation that passed with the transportation bill. Tied into the transportation bill was the virtual meeting platform we're on. This was set to expire at the end of June. The state legislator has given us an extension through December now. So we can continue to do virtual platform if we choose to through December now. So that just gives us some time to work with getting the community center set up. Doesn't mean that we can't get back together in person sooner. It just means that we have that option has been extended now for that time period.
Sorry, I'm going to jump in again.
Yes.
I just wanted to throw out there that I know that we'd like to get back in person, but it's way more complicated than that. I actually went down and measured out if we all sat in the room. If you distance 6 foot apart, we can have no public in the room. So one of us would have to get up and leave. A public member would have to come in. So it's a little more complicated than just bringing us back together. So if we decide to do that at some point, if and when, we really need to have a private discussion on how we're going to do that. So just to
and I've had a conversation with the Portage County Health District about this too. They basically said that we can do it, but we need to follow social distancing guidelines. It's no longer held till 10. We can have more than 10 as long as we can socially distance them properly. One way we could potentially do it is we'd have to build cubicles in the community center that would be movable so that we'd have barriers between all the trustees. It'd have to be a front and side barriers, basically plexiglass of some sort. So that there would be some cost involved in that so that we could get us closer together to give more room on the floor to allow for public to attend. So there's potentials there, but then there's cost and there's build and how do we make it so it's movable so we can continue to rent the community center.
I was just going to say, if you do all that, then we have a rental coming in starting in June. Now we got to move it all. So
right. So they'd have to be
something
movable.
to think about.
Well, I don't want to spend dollars saving nickels.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's best just to stick with what we're doing right now till things clear up.
It's just because of the platform that we have. It's just not big enough. So otherwise, yeah, we could get back together, but
it makes sense.
Yeah, we need a bigger room is the problem. And we're trying to fix that problem, but we're 2 years out from it.
Right.
Well, we could always hold one in the, one of the shelters, outdoor shelters.
Again, Brian's gonna fall out of his chair on the setup for that, but
I
another
know.
time. Another time.
We're just in a unique place, especially with the renovation taking place and the new, I mean, it's just, we don't want to do it, but our hands are limited, or tied.
Well, we do, just so you know, I don't know if it's big enough. We have the conference room over here in the front of the fiscal office. So I
That's
don't
not
know.
even close to.
No, yeah, I mean, when you start doing 6 feet apart, it's just, there's 10 of us on the board, basically, right? We have the elected officials and all the department heads. It's just,
You
Well,
can have
we
all
do-
the elected officials in
We
there.
do have the basement of the Methodist church that has space. The only
it's
other
all-
place I can think of space.
But then they have to wire everything.
I was gonna say, again, think of the IT option.
Yeah, the IT option,
Will be
yeah.
a nightmare, so.
so we'll continue investigating it, but I just wanted everybody to know that we felt like we were under the gun a little more at the beginning of this month, but then OTA gave us that update with that transportation bill change. So we do have a little more time to figure this out.
Dave would probably sit out and volunteer to sit out if you wanted him to.
I'll sit out.
All right. I don't believe we have any meeting guests scheduled for today. So that'll take us into meeting minutes. I'd like to make a motion to accept the meeting minutes for the April 21st bid opening and the April 21st regular meeting. Need a second?
I can
Second,
check. Sue's got it?
Those in favor,
Only
Mike?
for discussion.
Oh,
Hey, John, real quick discussion on that. There was only one change in those meeting minutes. On the 421, at the top it says, both of them say regular meeting. It should say bid opening instead of regular meeting for the first one in the meeting book.
Did you change that, Nick, in the book?
No, I wasn't sure what to do with it, so I
Okay.
just brought it up here.
All right. Kirsten, can you bring that over when you get a chance? Okay, thanks.
You're
All
welcome.
right. All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
yes,
motion passed.
All right. I need a motion to accept the agenda.
so move.
It's well, it's an amended
Well-
agenda. We have to add all those.
Yeah, we put the jiggers on it.
So I'll second it for discussion,
Yes,
so then we can make amendments to it. All right, amendments to the agenda under administration, old business. We're going to have an executive session, reference legal documents releases. So it's going to be administration 1A, executive session. And then administration 2D as in David, executive session for contracts related to land use. And then Mike Ladd, we're still doing executive session, correct? Under your area.
Yeah, that's correct.
So number 2 under zoning and economic development. Number 2, H is in Henry, executive session to discuss a business application.
Okay. And anything else?
Any other changes?
Nick, you have ours in there?
Yeah, that's the administration 2D as in David, a contract for land use.
Okay, got it.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yeah.
Yes.
Sue,
yes,
motion passed.
Okay. Purchase orders.
Thank you.
Need a motion for purchase orders.
I can make that motion.
second,
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
yes,
motion passed.
All right, we need a motion for warrants.
That motion.
so move.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes,
motion passed.
All right. Public comments or questions. We'll start with Mike. Do you have any public comments or questions that need read into record?
I had a lady that was very irate with them doing the renovation down there by Maple Crest. It's going to ruin her summer. So that's all I can say. I tried to explain, I use this for the greater good. She wasn't having any bit about that. She cannot get to Marshall's as quickly as she used to.
Okay. All right. Sue, any public comments or questions?
No.
All right. I do have one public comment. It was emailed to me, and it's actually in the positive, so I thought this was really worth reading. This comes from Ralph that lives over on, let's see here, where's he at? Last 6 months. This is related to the bridge work, Dave. He says, I have been meaning to drop you another email for a few days, but I forget by the time I get home. What a world of difference driving over the bridge now. Thank you for everything you've done. So they are really happy that we got ODOT out there to mill down that bridge where we were having those bump issues. So they're happy that we were able to respond to their concerns.
What street was that?
Dave, what road was that where that bridge was at? I don't think, trying to read through. Sherman?
Sherman Road. Okay.
I think Sandy
Yep.
Lake too.
Yeah, Sandy Lake got done, but this one was directly related to Sherman. He was upset last year about it, but ODOT couldn't do anything with winter coming in, and they finally got out and fixed it, and they are happy now. So,
Hope you do.
all right. Any safety concerns to report? Hearing none, we'll go into the business portion of the meeting. Roy, the floor is yours.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Nick. I really only have a couple of items of information just to share with you guys. Again, our Lemonade with a Cop event is going to be next Saturday at Meyer. We'll be set up with a canopy outside the doors there from 11:30 to 2:30, and we'll have officers, various officers will be there throughout the afternoon, just a meet and greet opportunity with members of the community. We'll get something posted to our social media feeds today on that event. And I just wanted to make you also aware this week, we've got all of our officers going through firearms training out at the Portage County Range with a couple of firearms instructors handling that for us. So all this week we have our staff in training. Other than that, I don't have anything to share with you this morning unless you have any other questions for me.
Any updates on Safety Town yet, or is that still under consideration?
It's still under consideration, but if I'm going to tell you today, Nick, I think it's going to be probably a no-go. But I will confirm that for you by the next meeting.
Okay, appreciate it. Any other questions for the police department? All right, hearing none, we'll move into fire department. Craig, floor is yours.
Sorry, I was in discussion with somebody. Give me just a second to pull my stuff up. I'm sorry. Okay, for the fire department, again, I apologize. Just kind of some updates here. The new firefighter hire continues to progress. He's actually come in today to turn in paperwork. He was allowed to get into his physical testing a little bit sooner than what we expected. So we're still shooting for a mid-May / early June hire date. And I will, for John in the fiscal office, I'll do it on a payroll week, so it's easier for us. So
Okay.
I'll let you guys know on that, but nothing, no flags there. We're still moving forward with that hire, and we need it because we're running more calls than ever, as usual. So just the way it is right now. The fire department admin building, the progress continues on that. We're pinning down the budget, and that's something we need to talk about in an executive session. So we'll discuss more in there. All I will say is that we all see the lumber prices and everything else just skyrocketing daily. So it's something we'll discuss, but it's just really hard to pin down a price right now. So, but we'll have more discussion on that. Other than that, moving right along, I have nothing else for the fire department.
Okay. Administration report.
Okay, under old business, I don't have anything right now. Under new business, I am working on, and I have spoken briefly to a couple of you very briefly about this, but I'm working on a possible intern program with Kent State University's help. I have not had a meeting yet. I will have that meeting, and in that we're just looking at some possibilities of intern help through Kent State, partnering with them. I don't know where that can play out for us, if it plays out at all, but you know, maybe that means a Parks and Rec intern. Maybe that means a I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. A zoning intern. I don't know what that means, but I think intern is a possibility of a way we could go. So I don't know if you have any.
A park intern would be great.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't had the first meeting, so I don't know if the person I'm meeting with places people or what her role exactly is or what we would have to do, but it's a possibility.
I think it's a great opportunity for us to partner with a local university. You know, Kent State is right down the road. They're our neighbor. It's a way for us to help college students get some real world experience while also providing some great services for our community. So I'm excited to see how these conversations go. I know in my professional life outside of here, we utilize interns with companies a lot of times to help them get programs up and running, and it's been pretty successful. So I think it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, and I happen to personally know this person that I'm working with, and she's a really good person. So I think it could be a good partnership. Anyways, all with that, soccer fields. We were hot and heavy. We got them all dozed, and then the rain came. I need like 5 dry days to get back on there to finish, and we're just stuck right now. So so I guess the update is no update. We're just stuck until we can get back out there and rock hound and knock it down and bring in topsoil. But I need some dry days, so that's where that sits. Kind of, this should be probably on the road department, but the contract for the road department and the union, it has been signed by us. Prior to sending this out, it had not been signed by them, but it is now. They met and signed, so I'm expecting copies to get done anytime soon. They did not get it done prior to this pay, so I'll work with Kirsten to get it in effect for next pay.
Greg, just as an FYI, I'm getting public records requests from that legal staff that was working with them for the signed copy, and I sent back that I'm still waiting on it from them. So yeah, officially that's still legitimate, right? We haven't gotten it back.
Yeah, you can send them an email and say it's on their side. We're waiting on them.
Yeah, that's what I put, but we didn't get anything, even though they said they signed it. We don't have it back yet.
Nope, I don't have anything in hand as of today.
Okay, that's
once
good.
I get that in hand, it was not us dragging our feet. I'll say that.
I let them know that as well.
Okay. And that's all I have for admin stuff.
All right, any questions for administration or fire?
Nope.
All right, hearing none, we'll move into zoning and economic development. Mike, the floor is yours, sir.
Thanks. Virtual Board of Zoning Appeals hearing is May 19th at 7 o'clock. The next Zoning Commission meeting is May 13th at 7 o'clock. Heritage of Brimfield Nursing Home is scheduled to break ground June 1st. They have all their certificates, working with Ron with fire as well. Redwood Apartment Homes continue to install utilities and grade. Hickory Hill Subdivision continues to install utilities and grade. Portage County has hired an engineering inspection firm to oversee the project. Dave was there to meet some of the guys. I know them personally. It's a good group. I think they're going to handle a lot of our issues. This is in relation with all the new subdivision regulations and having firms watch these projects and these roads so we don't get terrible roads in the future. So I think it's a good thing. Maple Crest West was submitted to regional planning for approval. We're currently working on several projects for this area. We have some very nice projects coming in behind Meyer Menards that are proposed. And this whole plan that went to regional planning is just extension of the roadways to accommodate these new businesses. Comprehensive land use plan is nearing completion. Everybody has their drafts, so just give us your feedback. I know there's some changes I have, as well as I think Mike Kostensky had some, and Roy, I believe you had a couple changes that need to take place as well. So we'll make sure everything gets handled. want to have that all wrapped up and given to the zoning commission at their next meeting.
So Mike, when are we going to discuss all the changes we got? Do we need to put it on paper? And
We're going to probably have that at the next meeting. We're going to have one more zoning commission, and we'll probably have that at the next trustee meeting, and we'll have Todd here.
Okay, that's good, because I've read the whole thing and I'd like to read it again backwards.
Perfect.
So the game plan, I was gonna ask that question today. The final suggestions that every member has, do you need those in writing, or do you just want to discuss those with Todd Peets and invite him to the next trustee meeting? How do we want to handle that?
I'd like to have it both ways. I'd like to have it in writing to Todd and then discuss it here at the next trustee meeting and get it all wrapped up.
Okay, and then at that point, so the timeline we're looking at right now is by next meeting, board members and department heads, please have in writing to Mike Ladd changes that you suggest, and then we'll also discuss at the trustee meeting in 2 weeks. Then we'll give Todd 2 weeks to make final changes to the document and submit the final piece to us. So not next trustee meeting, but the following one. Does that sound about right, Mike Ladd?
Yes, that's correct. And I could tell you that we're getting a lot of positive feedback as this does get out to the community. I don't know if you've seen it hit the paper this last week, and you know, Portage County is going to try to mirror what we did and extend off of it. So
Okay, Mike, the one thing I had a quick question on, I know they graded all the county roads. Why would they not grade our roads? It's for us.
So they can, I mean, it's a separate, you know, they just had that document handy where they can pull that
Well,
from.
yeah, the more and more I read it, it seems like they just copy and pasted a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of useless jibber jabbish in there, but you got to cut through it.
Some of it, yeah, some of it is stuff that's coming from the county engineer. They rate the roads. We do have that option to rate the roads, but I think
Well, I just thought it would be nice that we, you know, our roads are the ones we take care of. I was sort of interested to see what they rate them, you know?
Yeah, we can accommodate that. I think Dave's got a list. He's got the ratings. We could certainly put that in.
I got it. Yeah, I like what Nick was saying. We'll all put our stuff down in writing and go through it.
Yeah.
What has been community feedback? Have you gotten any emails or phone calls, Mike? Because I know we made that document public as a draft for community to feedback and stakeholders. Have you had any feedback on that?
I've had a lot of feedback.
I haven't had anything.
Yeah, I've gotten emails and I've got phone calls, and even Talmadge has read it and sent stuff over, and they really like the plan. So
I did have one gentleman that wasn't aware of how much parkland we have, so he was enlightened by it.
Good. All right. Well, at least the public's seeing it. That was my concern. So it's getting out there, and we're able to get feedback on that.
Okay. Woolen Engineering has completed the sign easements. We have one more sign that we just can't get hold of the people. So Mike Woolen sent out a letter to the property owner on Route 18 near Maple Crest. So when we're putting that sign in, that property owner has been notified. It was sent out Monday to contact us, and along with the agreement. So we're going to get these signed off. He's sending me the easement language. I'm going to go and let them sign off on that. Once that's completed, we'll at least get the first 3 started. And I'll ask Craig to release that money to get those started.
Mike, yes. That person on 18, is that couple that was upset about all the development there?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, this is they own a vacant parcel that our sign sits on as it is now, and they live in Talmadge, but there's no house or any kind of structure on that land. Okay. And then Mark Gadetti will have demolition bid package on abandoned homes ready for next trustee meeting. We were trying to push to get it done this one, but there's some issues we have to get through. So we definitely will have a bid package ready, and then, you know, with your blessing, we'll go out and advertise for bids after that.
I know I talked to Lauren, but that one parcel next to Alter Care, I mean, he's just laughing at us. I'm telling you.
He's on the list.
I mean,
He's on the list for
truly,
demo.
truly operating a business out of there. So.
Yeah, I don't see, I don't see he hasn't made any other improvement other than parking on his lawn and bringing landscape equipment in. He's really, I think he's just toying with us now. So, I mean, he's on the list for demolition. Yeah, yeah. So
with
it's
that
unfortunate.
with the demolition packet, this will be our second pass of looking at it. We had the county look at it. They did all the paperwork. Now Mark Gadetti's office is looking at it. So we kind of had that checks and balances, correct, before we move forward?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
And Mark's just making sure we have everything dotted and crossed, and then we're gonna go forward with it. So.
Okay, yeah, if you could push him to make sure we have that next trustee meeting, I'd like to get that out to bid sooner than later.
Yeah, I'd like to have these down by summer. Yeah, I'd like to have these down. The permit fees total to date are $162,785.60, and there's a lot more coming. So we're in good shape.
Good. That
concludes my report.
All right, just for point of information, we did have our Brimfield Kent JED meeting. I know, Mike, glad you weren't able to be there. You were off that day, but just to give the board an update, we did have an increase in JED revenue again, above and beyond what we had projected. I believe we brought in around $40,000 for the first quarter. And we also had a discussion related to the percentage of tax revenue being collected. It is at 1.5% for 2021. It should increase to 1.75% in 2022. The original document they had it not increasing for a few more years, but there was a change that was voted on by this board in 2015 and Kent City Council that actually changed the disbursement model. So we will see a 0.25% increase on JED tax revenue in 2022 for the Kent Brimfield JED. All right. Any questions for zoning or economic development? All right, hearing none, we'll go into road department.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Let's spend some money right off the bat first. I need to get the board's approval to okay the Sugar Maple paving project. It'll be awarded to Cardinal Asphalt Company, the project for $204,667.75. The commission, the engineers have checked over all the bids and they're the lowest bidder and everything checks out with them.
Okay, I will make that motion.
Second.
I will second that motion.
Nick seconded. It's fine.
Just quick point of discussion before vote. Dave, do you remember what the county estimated that project to be at?
Yeah, I got it or something. They actually, if I could read this morning, I can't see nothing, but it's like $280,000.
Okay, so we came well in under estimate. That's good to hear.
Right.
All right, any questions related to the contract?
Have they give you any indication when they might start?
No, I have to actually, after we get this okayed, I have to pick up the paper to have a Cardinal sign it for awarding. Then it's got to go to the prosecutors and have you guys sign all that stuff to get everything rolling.
Okay.
Okay. All right, John, can we get roll call vote then?
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay, on the next board approval thing I'd like to get is I would like to hire OmniPro again to be the on-site inspector for the job, like we
That's
used
great.
for other things.
I will make the motion that we use OmniPro as the site inspector. It costs not to exceed, but $23,964. Is that right, Dave?
Yes, that's right.
Second.
I can, okay, that's it.
Any discussion? Dave, when I saw them down there at Selnick Road and the great job they were doing, I think that is one of the best things we can do to make sure these roads are done right. Not that you don't do it right, but you just can't be there all the time.
Right. It helps out a lot. I mean, and the last few jobs haven't come out the amount they put in on it. So we normally have gotten a little money back from OmniPro when they're done. So
That's great.
All right, roll call.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes,
motion passed.
well, I'm done spending some for right now, I guess. Old business. I was going to bring up the fact that the state got out and milled off Sherman and Sandy Lake Road Bridge. They got rid of the bumps. It seems pretty good on that altogether. We've been out dirt patching, doing a little road mowing. The weather's really playing havoc right now. We're going to get started here pretty soon on doing the spring cleanup at the cemetery, town hall, that stuff here starting within the next couple weeks, get everything ready for Memorial Day at the cemetery. Right now we had a backhoe had a major radiator leak. I mean, it's still usable, but we're going to replace that the next couple rainy days. It's going to take a couple days to do it. Just to get a little heads up, there's a water main replacement on Elmhurst and Beechcrest allotment. They're going to start that late spring, early summer. They're not exactly sure the start date, but they'll let me know a week ahead of time when it's going to start. It's just to replace the last phase of the pipe in Beechcrest allotment 1. And like Mike Ladd said earlier, I was at a meeting with the county about Hickory Creek. They're getting ready to fire that project up off of Malloy Road, probably starting again next week. So there's some things brought up and everybody's in a pretty good agreement on it. So it's pretty set to go. Bomb Trigger is going to be doing a lot of the work there on the sewer, water, and storm sewers. And just one more little thing for the board. I'm looking into a part-timer. Actually had some discussions with an older employee that was here before and stuff. By the next meeting, I'll let you know more about it, but we're getting ready to bring in a part-timer to get things rolling a little better on the roadways. One more thing, don't forget everybody, Old Forge and Magador Road is now a 4-way stop. There's been some pretty good lockups already since yesterday. So just keep your eye out for yourself because people are not paying attention. And that's all I got.
Dave?
Yeah.
You got a comment here about the cemetery spring cleanup. I was over there yesterday, and if you stand there by Mike Ladd's office and you're real quiet, there's a groundhog with a new hole there. So I think you should clean him up too.
Oh, he's going to get cleaned up.
All right.
There's a skunk over there too, Dave. I want you to get that.
My jurisdiction.
Hey, Dave, just a quick question on that Elmhurst road project for the water pipe. I know that's not our jurisdiction, but are they just replacing just a main line? Are they rerouting the line like they did in the other part of Beechcrest initially? Are they keeping them in the same locations? How's that project looking?
It looks like it's going to be just a replacement in the same location because that part of the line mainly runs around in front of the houses. And they will be doing some, well, they have to tie services over to the new line. So I was talking to Jacob from Aqua. It's mainly going to be in the grass except for a couple tie-in points.
Yeah,
Okay.
right across my front yard.
Yep.
Yeah, I was asking because I know there was discussion before when they did the front half of Beechcrest. Some of those residents, they ended up running the line through the back and they had to re-tap and reconnect. And there was talks about running it through the backyards of other people's property. So I didn't know if they were moving forward with that or if they were just running it down the main road.
No, it'll be out on the main road. As far as I know, I haven't seen the complete plans of it. I just know it's coming.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for road? All right. Thank you for the report, Dave.
Yep.
Turn it over to Parks and Rec. Cassie, floor is yours.
All right. For old business, I have an update on playground equipment. A slight change. The installation is actually going to begin on Tuesday, 5/11, because Dave's crew is now on 4/10, so they won't be here on Monday. So they'd prefer to start Tuesday. So So that is next Tuesday. So very exciting that is happening. Parks grants. The dog park use survey was posted on social media and on our website, and I made QR codes and put them up at the park so that people could start taking them. As of this morning, we've gotten 92 responses already, which is really awesome. And most of them are positive. I included a couple comments from the survey. Oh, what happened to them? I had them open at one point. Let me see if I can pull them up. But the majority of the comments have been positive, which was really good to see. Here we go. Okay. Just a few of them. One of the questions was, why is the Brimfield Canine Memorial Dog Park important to you? People said that it's close to them, local park to meet other dogs, controlled exercise for my dog. A recurring theme that I did see was many people said that they do not have fenced-in yards. They live in apartments where they can't have a fenced-in yard, or they live in a development that doesn't allow fenced-in yards. So that was kind of something that I didn't consider when I was putting out the survey. So that was nice to see. There aren't a lot of dog parks near us. The closest one is in Stowe. We did have one negative comment that said it's not important and it needs to be repurposed. So I thought I'd throw that in there. And then additional comments, there were some safety concerns. Someone said that their dog is less than 5 pounds and they can slip under the fence. Somebody said the dog park needs a makeover. I think we know that already. Needs more advertisement. And then, yeah, more safety. And another one that we got a lot was considering adding water for the dogs at the park. So, yeah, I'm really glad that we are getting such a great response to this survey, and it's really great. Even if we didn't get the dog park grant, it's great to get this feedback from the community. And then, so I have this survey open until May 10th. The applications opened on the 1st of this month, and they're open until June 30th. So I will be submitting our application on the 14th, once we get all the survey results and everything. Volleyball court renovations. I've been talking to Dave about this. We are looking at the possibility of ordering new nets and poles. I had budgeted $2,000 for this project, and I don't know that that would cover all new poles and nets for both courts. So we were deciding whether we want to keep the existing poles and just replace the nets, or if we just wanted to redo one of the courts this year and maybe one of the courts next year. So we're going back and forth on that. An update on the NOPEC grant items for the community center. I spoke to John Matthews about the windows and patio doors. He said they had been ordered, but there is a 7 to 9 week lead time on getting those in. All construction materials are so expensive and so backed up right now. So it'll be a while before that happens. Parks events. We talked about the spring cleanup event, which will be this Saturday from 9 to 4. So that is the where people can bring their items to be put in the dumpster or in the metal recycling bin. Also, we're having the concurrent park litter cleanup from 10 to 2, where people can come and volunteer to pick up some trash in the park. Also, Touch a Truck, Saturday, June 19th from 11 to 2. Planning is underway for that. I feel like we're already pretty much done with the planning portion, so that's good.
Would you explain what the slop truck is?
Yeah, so they are going to, well, maybe Nick could explain them a little bit better.
So the slop truck is, it's actually, it's a food truck, but instead of sending their food truck out, they're going to be sending a concession stand truck out instead. The food truck was booked that weekend somewhere else, but they're just a local business that started in Ritztown. And they go to all these festivals and have food trucks, and they just set up and serve food. It's just the name of their company is the Slop Truck. You'll find them a lot of times. They do the Edinburgh auctions. They do the local racetrack. They're also, you find them up at Aurora Farms a lot of times. Just a family-run business, husband, wife, and son, and daughter-in-law are usually the ones working it, and they volunteered to come out and work the touch truck event for us.
Good. Thank you.
And they'll be serving, I think, lemonade, hamburgers, hot dogs, I think ice cream too, like prepackaged ice cream. All right. And then under new business for programs, I have the May and June parks programs finalized. I was a little behind on that because I was trying to figure out the logistics on how we're going to run programs as far as social distancing and all that. I think I finally have it figured out so we can do them safely. So the first program that I'm going to institute for the summer is, I might shorten this name a little bit, it's a lot. Family Fun First Fridays, maybe just Family Fun Fridays would be better. But the first Friday of every month from 6 to 8 p.m., I'm going to have a family activity. The first one will be tie-dye. So people can either bring their own shirt or we will provide shirts for them, and then we'll just provide the materials to do tie-dye. There will be a small fee associated with this program just to cover the cost of materials. And I like the option of bringing your own shirt because it saves them a little bit of money too.
What day is that going to be? Or
those are going to be the first Friday of every month from June to September.
okay,
Some other ideas I was thinking of is doing maybe some relay races and some other crafts. Just something that gets families out into the park just for a fun, carefree evening.
good.
And additionally, it'll be nice because they can kind of just stay in their family pod instead of interacting with a large group of people if they're still uncomfortable with that.
That cable that's over there will disconnect.
The next one that I'd like to do is I want to experiment with doing some daytime programming. I understand that there are people that are available during the daytime. Generally, I've done my programs weekends or evenings. So I would like to do what I'm calling lunch and learn, which would be the last Tuesday of every month from 12 to 1:30. People can come to the Honeychuck Pavilion and I'll just do a short, fun presentation on a topic of nature. The first one will be frogs and toads. And they can just bring their own lunch, sit down, listen to some fun facts about some amphibians, and there'll be an optional nature hike afterwards.
That's great.
I'm also going to be doing, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, what's the date on the family activities for the frogs? What is the date for that?
For the lunch and learns, they're going to be the last Tuesday of every month. I'm trying to kind of get consistent programming so people just know when to expect them.
Okay.
It kind of keeps me on the ball too.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm also trying to appeal to some people that are still not comfortable with congregating, so I would like to do some self-guided programming as well. I've already started with the monthly parks bingo boards. If you haven't seen those already, just a little bingo board that they can either download or print. I also have QR codes up for those so they can bring them up on their phone, and you just walk our parks, walk our trails, and cross off the items you see on the list. And I'm also going to be doing some self-guided hikes. At the beginning of June, I'll be doing a riddle hike where there'll be some signs posted and there'll be some clues on the signs. They walk and they collect clues as they walk. And at the end, they try to figure out the riddle. And then another program that I had was on June 24th, I will be doing a Bugs for Kids program. I believe I had that from 10 to 12. And I'm going to give a short talk about bugs, give the kids some jars and nets, and let them go out into the field and catch some bugs. And then we'll talk about what they caught. That was a program I've done at some previous jobs, and it went really, really well. Kids love bugs. So, and then Backyard Brimfield, I'm going to be putting on hiatus temporarily just because we're moving back into in-person programs, and I love doing that program, but it is a big time commitment. So I do enjoy it. I may come back to it someday, but for now, I'm going to be doing some shorter videos on maybe just like a topic of nature, but doing a whole 10-minute video is a lot of work. So I'm just going to put that on the back burner for now. And then my last item is the Brimfield Parks Advisory Committee, our next meeting is Thursday, 5/20 at 6:30 p.m. We will be resuming or starting in-person meetings because we haven't had any in-person meetings yet. And we will be meeting at the Carter Pavilion, weather permitting. If not, we will be meeting in the community center. And I have started a committee volunteer sign up. So they are already signing up for some of these events that I had mentioned before, which is great to have extra hands for these events. And it's awesome that our committee has varying availability. So some are available during the day, some are available on weekends. So for pretty much every event, I have at least one other person to help me. And then we had mentioned in a previous meeting the pop-up play in the park program, which is the program where the committee members will be setting up in the park with some toys and like basketballs and jump ropes and that kind of thing, setting up a table at the park and just letting kids borrow the items and then just engaging them about the park. So kind of engaging the kids, but also kind of engaging the parents too, just letting them know where our parks are, what events we have coming up, if we have any surveys or anything like that for them to fill out, and just letting the Parks Committee get to know our community better. So I'm excited for that program. I ordered the supplies for that, so we should be starting those programs shortly. Once they start up, I am going to come with them for the first couple, just to make sure they're, doing okay and know what they're doing. And then after that, we'll just make sure that there's at least two committee members or me and a committee member at each pop-up event. And that is my report. Lots of stuff going on in the park.
Okay, Cassie, back to the dog park. I did notice, like you told me about the dead trees. Are you you and Dave scheduling to get those replaced or at least ripped out?
Yeah. We were just talking about that yesterday, what type of tree we would like to put in. We'll have to.
Well, I noticed the tree inside the dog park. I mean, how good that is growing. So, that's almost twice the size of the other ones. So whatever that is.
It's kind of funny because we'd rather have that one be on the outside, but.
I know it's probably from all that fertilizer. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we were discussing a plan for, because that was another comment that we got was lack of shade. Now that we have the pavilion, there's a little bit of shade, but if you're watching your dog actively, you need to be, right there. So yeah, we were discussing some possibilities for trees there too.
Yeah, when you and I talked, I was thinking, I mean, how hard would it be for us just to build a simple shelter close to the dog park so people could sit right there and watch their dogs? I mean, I don't know what kind of, I'm just talking something simple.
Yeah, there are some shade structures available too. I know I've looked into them. So yeah, I can do some shopping around and see what that would cost.
For an option, can we do like, I don't know, something basic you might see in your backyard, like a pergola out there? Just some 4x4s.
That's what I'm thinking. Just something simple. Cause people don't mind sitting in the Carter shelter, but not the Carter, whatever shelter, but they want to be closer to where their animals are.
Right.
So, and just getting rid of some of the, seeing dead trees there just doesn't look right. And
right.
I mean, it is looking very aged. And hey, Dave, whenever it dries up, can you have Cody hit it with all that weed killer to kill all those weeds around the fences?
Yeah, he actually, I told him this morning to pick up some extra weed killer for we're ready to do the park when it opens. We can get to it with the sun.
Okay. And then the other thing, this is not about the dog park, Cassie, but if you look at the sled riding hill and you're standing on the top, you look to the left, why don't we have that rope in those poles anymore that we used to use to help the kids walk up the hill? Dave, and do you remember whatever happened?
I think the rope was in poor condition.
Yeah, the rope was falling down and stuff. And then I've had people mention, why don't we pull the post? Because it's in the way of people coming down the hill on the sleds. So,
well, I mean, the whole thing was for them to stay away from the post to help older people get up the hill, I don't know. Cuyahoga Falls Bolic has that big pole, and everyone uses it because it shows people how to walk up a hill. I mean, you don't want them walking up the middle of the hill. It would make some great videos, that's for sure. So just something to think about. I think we ought to maybe put the road back in like it was intended to be.
Okay. I'm
That's
ready
my
to
thoughts.
do.
And then I did
I-
talk to Dave. I did talk to Dave. He has put all those trails in there, which I didn't realize how many trails he's actually put in there. So he said he's going to get with you about some signage just so people know. And thanks for
Yeah.
cutting those down, Dave. Yeah, I guess I missed that part of the conversation, but if we ever get rid of this monsoon season, I'm going to go back there and walk. And I truly understand why he didn't put the trail where I thought it should go. And what he said makes sense, because if he puts the trail over there, you get the yahoos on the four-wheelers that think we put the trail in for them. So
Yep. Yeah.
Dave-
If you look
Dave
at
Dave does have a method to his madness. So
if you look at the aerial view of our park on Google Maps, you just see all the ATV trails that go through there.
yeah.
So a little different discussion that I think we need to have. Where are we at with Brimfest 2.0? It's May 5th, the summertime's coming up. I know some families have asked about it because they're trying to plan vacations. They'd rather be in town if we're doing something. I think we really need to make a decision here real soon,
Right.
today or in 2 weeks, of what we're doing. Are we going to try to just do a street festival? Because it doesn't sound like you're getting a lot of feedback from the Brimfield Association. I don't know what we want to do, but I think we need to make some decisions, especially if we're going to do a street fair and trying to get food vendors scheduled for that. I'm sure they're getting booked up because everything's opening up now.
Right.
So I don't know what
Yeah.
the board's opinion is, what we want to do. I don't know what legality goes into closing down a street. I don't know if we can close Falcon Drive down over there. I don't know what our options are.
Well, let's all gather our information for the next 2 weeks and let's make a decision the next meeting. That way I can talk
Okay.
to Craig a little bit and you can talk to the chief and, just all the different pieces we need to figure it out.
I think my
Yeah.
my comment, and I sure hope it's done, but the water lines are ran to the field. We'd have to get those physically
Robin?
tapped to be used.
Yeah,
But I am still waiting on electric,
Uh,
and electric and water is the biggest piece to making that happen.
I would anticipate that would be done by August. I mean, that's
I do too. I wanted it done by now, and here we sit though. So
Morgan has the stuff.
I would,
right.
I would
He's the one that's
be on
supposed
the
to come
fence
down
and
at
say,
10
yeah,
o'clock.
it could happen by then.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not looking for, if we do a street festival, I'm sure we're not going to have all the carnies, the kids rides, those sorts of things. But if at least
See,
we
the
have food
thing
trucks
is, I
and
don't
some
know-
music there,
I know what this
then
machine was
it could
back
at least
with
be
Robert,
something that we could do.
but with all
I
this
just hate doing 2 years of
I'm not sure
no
what the final one's gonna be.
festival for the community.
So, but I'll be there after the trustee meeting.
I just wait until he's done.
Okay, Robin. Okay. Well,
Oh, he's muted.
Nick, were you thinking, so we were still planning on doing the fall harvest event this year. Were you thinking like August, September for this event?
Yeah, no, we would do this the same time we've always done Brimfest, which is, what is it, August time from, what weekend is that? Does anybody remember?
It's September.
I
It's
think-
it's varied, but it's usually been in September.
Okay.
And I know, when is Balloon Affair? Is that the 18th?
It's usually right around Balloon Affair. We try to schedule around that as best as we can, but we also have to take into consideration homecoming because that's a big event. Obviously, we don't want to try to run a street festival the same night as homecoming.
yeah, Nick, I think we used to try to do it close to September 11th, but that, in the beginning, that's what we did. But at this point, I mean, weren't we just thinking possibly just a day or two, something?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay.
My thoughts was, and I think even with Brimfest, they were talking about just making it 2 days now. So it'd be Friday night and all day Saturday, then the Saturday evening, and then we're done. Nothing on Sunday. Shorter festival. But if we did food trucks and music, it at least gives some people a chance to gather together if they want to. And if COVID ramps back up for some reason, if we have the food trucks, we can just do like they did at Portage County Randolph Fair. It's a drive-through food festival then, because we already got the roadway there. People can drive through, order food from the vendors, and the vendors aren't out business, and we still can have a gathering point for people.
Yeah,
And
because
stay social distance.
we know there's not a chance that we're going to get an amusement ride park this
Right.
quick.
So, yeah. So really, it's about, can we get enough food vendors, maybe some craft vendors if they want to set up some local businesses, and then if we can book a couple bands out there, maybe we can work with Hometown Bank. And even if we, you know how they do at Balloon Affair, Mike, how they put the semi trailer out there and then just set the band up on the trailer. We did something like that. I think that could be a fun little street festival.
But they sure are hot being up on those flatbeds. Hopefully
Many
it's a nice
years
day.
many years ago, the Chamber of Commerce, they would have their Brimfest, which was very small at that time. They would have their Brimfest at the elementary school, which gave sufficient parking. And so I was thinking the high school has that whole new parking lot up there that they've resurfaced, that for like a Friday and a Saturday, I don't see any difficulty with just having it up there. It gets people off the street safety wise. And there's plenty of room up there. So that's just a thought.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean that
there's-
could be an option. I think part of the thought process was to run this as a Brimfest 2.0, a smaller festival, to see how that street fair works. Because when we next year, hopefully Brimfest is back into full swing, the idea was to close down that road by the elementary school. So to close it down between the housing development and 43, and just make that a walking path for everybody. And then people can park at the school, they can park at the township, they can park at the plaza if we can get permission there. There'd be plenty of parking and then walking distance for everybody.
Yeah,
Well, the
there's-
council house has that acre and a half right there for people to do things.
remember,
Yep. And so, yeah, we're close.
remember we did a Brimfest up there one year, and we had
Yeah.
we closed it off by Pizza Hut and did all that. But you know, while we're just talking about it, real quickly, we almost need a little bit more than music and food. I mean, what if you did like those old-fashioned things where you have a wheelbarrow race and some stupid things, just some other entertainment, you know? I mean,
Yeah, no, I think we would have to find some entertainment, some family events that they could do. I would even be a proponent of a dunk tank for the department heads.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, me too.
Trustees.
Yeah.
Trustees only.
Fiscal
oh,
office.
you guys.
Yeah.
Are so funny. Okay, well let's make sure we come back in 2
I don't
weeks.
think John fits in a dump tank.
I don't.
You hit your feet and be standing up to your waist still.
You start hitting me in the head with the ball.
Right.
So, but no, I think we need to make a decision by next trustee meeting if we're going to do it. You know, we need to find out if the chamber's interested in partnering on a 2.0, if it's just going to be us. But I really feel like we need to do something. And I know families are asking about it because it's just a staple of our community. And I don't want to see that tradition go away. You miss things for too many years and they just tend to not come back.
Right.
So,
I mean, even if, you know, the chamber is partners, I mean, just have them all bring their own tent and set up their own businesses. You know what I mean? Just so people
Yep.
can walk around and see stuff.
I'm not trying to.
well, that's the other big thing is if we can get a way to advertise for these local businesses. Let's be honest, COVID has been hard on everybody. So if we can get these mom and pop shops out there again and just get them some advertising, I think it's
Yep.
good for them.
I don't want to speak for them, but Cassie, it doesn't sound like the chamber's very interested, are they? From what you.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I mean, have they responded to you at all?
No.
Yeah, so we may reach out to them again, but we may have to move on without them and not wait on them. Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions on that? All right. Hearing none, we will move into cemetery. We have no old business, but we do have new business. We signed a deed. And then
Yeah.
Sue, it looks like we have a request for board approval.
Yeah, under the old business, this is just a conversation update, doesn't require a vote at this point. But the committee met at the site where it's going to be. A gentleman came and we talked about the cement. Dave, you can get on with this if you want to. You're the cement man. And we talked about the foundation and how deep the cement should be, and got some ideas of what we would like, how we'd like to have it positioned and where we want the columbariums to be and all those things. John was there. And so they did, the monument place sent us ideas of how we would want the columbariums placed on the cement. And we're in the process now of picking out the one we think would be the best representative to be there. So I just want to let you know we're moving along with that. And we should have the design picked out here within this week. And I'll get that to you. But moving on here, the Boy Scouts, Samuel Wilson was an Eagle Scout, and his Eagle Scout project was the pond that we have in the cemetery. He was tragically killed in a kayaking accident last year. So the Boy Scouts have approached Cassie and myself and talked about they want to have a small marker with his name on it, designating that that was his Eagle Scout project. And so we met at the pond, and we have the plaque project. We have it made out. The Boy Scouts figured that out, and Portage Monument is making that. And Portage Monument met with us there and talked about the best placement where we'd like to have that put. Dave was there. Dave will do a foundation for it. And Cassie, how big was that? Maybe like 16 by 8 by 4, something like that. There wasn't huge.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Lays flat with
very
the
big.
ground. Lays flat with the ground, and it'll be put in. It'll be put right in the ground level, facing the facing the water there. So anyway, we'd like to do that. What?
And the cost of this is all by the Boy Scouts. Are just asking for approval to put it in.
Yep.
Yeah, the Boy Scouts are going to pay for the monument. What about the foundation that Dave's going to put in? Could the township put bring along the cement to do that? What did we talk about, Dave?
Dave, you're on mute.
It's not a very costly thing when they're out there doing the foundations, which you'll be doing in May anyway. So
Yeah, just a little bit of sandcrete.
Now, we weren't going to pour a foundation there. We're going to put we're going to dig it out. We're going to put some sackcrete down and then wiggle the stone in the sackcrete to make it level and hold it into place. So it wasn't going to be a traditional foundation like we do for the headstones. Just in case something happens, it has to be moved or something, it's able to be taken out without a big chunk of concrete underneath it. So.
Okay.
It's not going to be a cost, maybe a bag or two of sackcrete, which is, like $10. So.
Yeah. Well, Sue, it's do you want to make that motion as your project?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we have the Boy Scouts honor Samuel Wilson as Eagle Scout, and that was his project.
With the township pouring the foundation.
Right.
I'll second that motion. Any discussion on it? No, I think it's a good project. Thank you for getting that all together for us, Sue. John, so we have a roll call.
all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
motion passed.
All right. Anything else under cemetery?
No.
Fiscal office, any updates?
No, just the executive session that we need out there later.
Hey, John, just real quick, any updates on the employee manual?
No, I think we need to make a decision to move on.
All right, well, let's put a game plan together for next meeting, and
Okay.
then
Yeah,
we'll talk offline about that.
all right.
All right. Anything for the good of the order before we go into executive sessions?
Actually, hold on one second.
Nick,
Oh,
if I
Mike,
may, I got one more thing. I got an email from the prosecutor's office regarding 3983 Sunnybrook. This is the one with the commercial vehicles that keep parking there, and they come and go. It's not consistent. Brett did send a letter to them, but he would like the trustees to pass a resolution to follow up with the violations at 3983 Sunnybrook Road.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to first amend the agenda to include action for 39, what was that address again? 3983 Sunnybrook Road. Need a second for that amendment to the agenda.
Second that for discussion.
All right, this is just to change the agenda so that we can possibly take action on Sunnybrook.
Yeah, I'll second that. Sorry, Nick.
Okay, that's okay. John, can we get roll call for amendment?
Yeah, but I want to add, I was going to add one in there. We had an action under the fiscal office last time and it was on the agenda. We talked about it. We just never passed a resolution. So I'm going to add another one to the agenda right there. It's in regards to the bond versus the insurance policy through Otarma. Using
I thought we voted on that.
I thought we did too. I must have been sleeping when we did. I didn't write it down. So
okay.
You have
so
to
the Otarma bond. Okay.
Right. We had it on the agenda. We talked about it. I guess we must not have passed anything, but
yeah, I thought we did.
So that needs to be added to the agenda as well.
Okay, so we have two amendments to the agenda on the floor. Any other amendments that we need to make? Hearing none, roll call for the two amendments.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed.
All right. So then we'll go back to Mike Ladd first. Mike Ladd, reference 3983 Sunnybrook Road. Can you just give us 30,000-foot overview of that case so that we can make a motion?
Yeah, so the resident next door, the one that's complaining, we receive emails all the time, and I think the trustees are copied on it. He did again this weekend, which I reached out to Brett actually during this meeting. Brett provided a letter that he sent to the property owners. They just want to pursue further with this to get this to stop, but they'll need a resolution from the trustees, you know, acknowledging that.
And we feel as though that property owner is in violation of our zoning code at this point.
You know, I go past quite a bit and I don't see the trucks, but I do get the pictures and the videos from the resident next door. It usually happens at like 10 o'clock at night or something, or during the weekend, you know, strange hours. So
how many vehicles are we allowed to park in that area, in that zoning jurisdiction? Can we park any commercial vehicles on property there or not?
No, really can't. Like in this particular case, you know, it's usually 2 or 3 large box trucks. I'm not sure of the total gross weight. We have some pictures of the gross weight on a couple of them from the neighbor, which allowed the prosecutor to proceed with it. So it's just strange because it's hard for me to get it, because every time I go past, I don't see them. And then I send a letter and say, you know, I don't see any violations. And then of course that upsets everybody. So then I get videos and pictures throughout the weekend. So, you know, I sent everything to the prosecutor's office. He sent a letter and I believe they're ignoring him. So he wants to follow up on it. So.
And you know, because Mike, like I told you, I was by 3 times Saturday. I saw nothing. I was back twice. By it twice yesterday. I saw nothing.
Right.
And you know, because I do that catering up there, so I don't know. I mean, apparently all he's doing is parking them overnight.
Right.
And there's a law against that.
That is correct. Yep.
Okay. All right, well, maybe that's something we need to look at in the zoning code too for discussion in the future.
I mean, everything over
there.
there.
But if he's running the entire business out of there, it's different than if I'm an owner operator. I got a single truck. I park it in my driveway and take off in the morning. If we're parking 3 or 4 box trucks there, I think that's obviously a much different piece. But if he's in violation of the zoning code. So I'll make a motion to have the prosecutor's office move forward with action on 3983 Sunnybrook Road.
Second.
All right, any discussion on that? I know I've driven by and not seen anything, but I've also been copied on the emails. So obviously he's taking pictures at some point.
Yeah. I mean, as long as that, you know, as long as we're not violating their rights too, you know, I mean. how many other places you drive around Brimfield and you see a truck parked there overnight? You know, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's why I was asking if the code really supported that he could not park one vehicle overnight.
I mean, if you look at it, that whole area is pretty much getting to be industrial. You know,
Right.
I just, you know, I mean, everything's got to be fair and firm for everybody, you know. So I really think when we're looking through this stuff, we need to really look into this.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said, if he is truly in violation, that's where we lean on you, Mike, lad, to know the code and know where we stand on that. If he's in violation of that zoning section, then it is a violation. But I also think it's something that we need to bring before the zoning commission for discussion about, you know, what should and shouldn't be. Obviously, we don't want people running trucking businesses out of their property. But if, you know, I'm starting a business and I'm an owner operator, I also want to take that into consideration too. How do we manage those pieces?
But when you
Well,
look at the pictures of his trucks, they seem to be all rental trucks, you know. So I don't know, but yeah, we just got to do what the zoning code says.
Right now, it's a unique situation because it's a non-conforming use in that district. So, you know, up the street, you have light industrial, which allows trucks, you know, to be outside in it, but yet this is a residence in a different district. So it's still a non-conforming use that, you know, therefore you couldn't have the trucks parked in that residential unit.
Okay. All right, roll call for vote.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes,
motion passed.
All right. And then, John, can you read the motion for the fiscal bond?
We talked about this last meeting. We should have done it then, but we're just making the motion again for auditing purposes. We need to approve the use of the OTARMA liability and property insurance policy for all elected officials and department heads in regards to in the replacement of a bond. We do not need a bond anymore. We can go by the OTARMA liability and property policy that is offered through them. So we need to approve to switch to that from the bond.
All right, so I'll make a motion to switch from bonding for elected officials to the OTARMA liability policy.
I'll
I'll
second.
second that for discussion.
Who's got that?
I know we discussed it before. What I'm concerned about is the developers that have the money to post a bond, but they don't have the finances right up front.
No, this is different.
This
This
is
is just
different.
for
no.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is the bond
not-
that we have to carry. It's a
Oh,
liability
it's a
bond on
bond for
elected
us?
officials.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, all those
All
in
right.
favor? Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes,
Okay, motion passed. Thank you. Sorry, I don't know what I did last time. So
Okay.
John, did you write it down?
I'm writing it down right now.
I thought maybe
All
you're
right,
playing
anything
tic-tac-toe.
else? Anything else for the good of the order?
Nope.
If not, I'd like to, let me get this form up here. Give me 1 second. I'd like to make a motion this date on May 5th, 2021. I move to convene into executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G for the purpose of considering the following matters. First executive session is going to be for number 7, to consider confidential information related to the marketing plan specific to business strategy, production techniques, trade secrets, or personal financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance, or to negotiate with other political subdivisions respecting requests for economic development assistance. Also, in the second executive session for under section number 2, to consider the purchase of property for public purposes or the sale of property at competitive bidding if premature disclosure of information would give an unfair competitive bargaining advantage to a person whose personal private interest is adverse to the general public interest. And a third executive session for number 8 or number 7A, which is also to consider confidential information to marketing plans. I need a second on that.
I will second that, Nick.
Roll call?
Okay, all those in favor for all three of those at the same time. I'll ask that if you're all going to vote the positive, I'm just going to do all three. If we're not, then I need to go through each one individually. So I'm going to ask as a whole, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes.
Okay, that's going to apply to all three of those. So we're good.
All right. So let's do these in order. What we're going to do is for these sessions, the first session, we will have Mike Ladd and Craig present. And then the second two sessions, we'll ask Mike Ladd to step out. And then we'll come back from executive session. So we are out of executive session. And I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I will make that motion to end the meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes.
Okay, we are adjourned at 9:58 a.m.